Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Opportunity Podcast. Today, I am interviewing a buddy of mine, someone that's probably no stranger to you at all, Mr. Tim Soulo of Ahrefs. So, Tim, he's the Chief Marketing Officer of Ahrefs. Him and I, we've talked many times over the years, and he's one of my favorite marketers that is like building something really big because he just says it straight. Like, there's no direct response, Dan Kennedy, like reverse clickbait switch, or like trying to like mystify things. He's very much a straight talker when it comes to marketing, which is something I've always really appreciated. So I thought, who better to come on and actually talk about AEO or GEO or whatever we're calling it, right? Where like what's real in this world of getting seen in ChatGPT and Claude. Now, I've been doing some research on this over the last few months myself for, as you hear in the podcast, like me trying to figure out what do we need to do at Empire Flippers for this as well. And I have had a lot of doubts. I see a lot of grifters out there, and so has Tim as well. But Tim really breaks it down into a simple way for us to think about it. And at least according to this podcast and according to my own research, which has backed up a lot of what Tim has said, it's actually kind of a rollback in terms of complexity versus what we're used to with OG SEO. And we also talk about SEO and the future of SEO as well. So with that said, I'll stop talking. Let's get into the podcast with Tim, and I will see you on the other side. All right, I am here with Tim Soulo, the CMO at Ahrefs, who probably needs no real introduction to the majority of my audience. Tim and I, we've been buddies for years and years. But Tim, for the people in my audience that have been living under a rock, why don't you talk to us about who you are and what you do?
Hey, Greg. First of all, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm CMO at a company called Ahrefs. If you're doing SEO and you don't know what Ahrefs is, you're probably not good at SEO. That's basically my elevator pitch.
I love it. Ahrefs is a powerful niche website that you have helped build up over the years. So a lot of my affiliate friends will love to hear what you had to say. Well, I brought you on because we were in Chiang Mai SEO not too long ago, and it got me thinking, with all this talk about AI and AEO, GEO, all this stuff, like me personally, I find most people pushing it as kind of a bit of a grift, to be honest. But I know you are going hard into it with Ahrefs, and you're someone I trust in this space. So I thought I'd bring you on and we could talk all things AI and SEO. How does that sound to you, Tim?
Sounds amazing. Super happy to talk about it. And AI is something that everyone wants to hear about. So, good topic.
If this does not get the most downloads of any podcast, I'm going to be extremely disappointed, Tim. All right. So let's start with the basics. How does SEO, as we know it traditionally, compare to this new age of GEO and AEO? Like, how should business owners even start approaching this stuff?
To be honest, it's all the same from what I'm seeing and I'm talking to people. It's all the same. I think we're a little bit even kind of rolled back to the past because the other day I was hanging out with also our common friend, Gareth Hoyle, and he was showing me how he managed to put his name into the AI overviews for the terms like best geo expert. And that's basically by spamming a bunch of listicles where there would be a list of people and Gareth would be among them, typically at the top of the list. And this is all it takes to game Google, to game Google's own kind of AI overviews, to start mentioning him as AI expert. Yeah, and I saw some other SEO professionals on Twitter were quite unhappy with the list of GEO experts that Google has been recommending. But I think that only shows how gameable those AI outputs are still. I think with ChatGPT, it's more or less the same. For a period of time, they had this kind of loophole with Reddit where they over relied on Reddit to give you information about stuff, and marketers and SEOs started spamming Reddit with mentions of their tools, services, and such, and ChatGPT was picking it up. But yeah, the industry is moving, and the way those AI reviews in Google are generated, the way ChatGPT generates its answers, it evolves over time. So what worked a week ago might not necessarily work a few weeks after. But fundamentally, The first principles are still the same. You have to create abundance of content about your product on your own website. You have to create abundance of mentions, now not necessarily backlinks, but rather mentions of your product and your brand on other websites, so that when AI, which has to rely on conventional search to pull information somewhere, when AI would do those searches, it will find you and it will mention you. So fundamentally, nothing changed.
Well, other than the old strategies coming back.
Yeah, which is fun.
I was actually on Reddit. I forget what I was doing. I was searching for something related to the software. I forget which one, but then I saw like one of my SEO buddies that does a lot of parasite SEO. Like, I'm positive this is you. Like, then I saw another one and another one. Like, oh shit. So it is definitely becoming massive. I was talking to another friend of mine. He also mentioned listicles to me, like,
Yeah.
which is crazy to me that you have this incredibly sophisticated tool like ChatGPT and is ruled by like black hat SEO 101 of just spraying listicles everywhere.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So for people who are familiar with SEO, I mean, you mentioned it's basically the same, but is there parts of SEO that matter less today in this age of AI that people shouldn't focus on as much anymore?
Great question. I think the biggest change is these freaking AI overviews, which are stealing a lot of clicks from organic
Yeah.
search results. We suffered from it ourselves at Ahrefs. We saw HubSpot suffering from it, and we
Oh man.
created a
Yeah.
little bit of drama online when Ryan Law from our team tweeted, or like rather shared on LinkedIn, a screenshot of their traffic trend in Ahrefs, which was like going down dramatically. Yeah, this is because of AI overviews, because AI overviews are stealing a lot of traffic. And I think the kind of the new, I wouldn't call this loophole, but more maybe like a tactic or thing to consider is, if you want to get traffic to your website, you probably want to target keywords that don't display AI overviews, at least yet. And in most SEO tools, well, in Ahrefs for sure, there's a filter for keywords with or without AI overviews. So when doing keyword research or competitor research, you can easily filter for keywords that do contain AI overviews and don't contain. And now you have two strategies. If a keyword does contain AI overviews, you need to employ those strategies of how do you get mentioned there. And like we discussed, one of the strategies is like to spam everything with listicles. And if a keyword doesn't contain AI overview, then all the conventional SEO tactics try to get your page ranking high there. And again, one tactic that a lot of people forget is your website is not the only place where you should be mentioned, because the top search results for any keyword, they have like around 10 different websites ranking, and those websites are not necessarily your direct competitors. So maybe you can reach out to them and negotiate getting mentioned on their page, maybe for payment, maybe for affiliate link or something. And this plays well into, again, AI search, because the more websites on a given topic mention you, you not only get visibility from what I call second-hand search traffic. When someone clicks on a page that doesn't belong to your website, but you are still mentioned there, and like you get visibility, you get traffic, but you also get value because AI would pick up all those mentions and it would think that you're popular, like, which you are if you're getting mentioned a lot. So yeah, that's basically it. Like the only consideration is you have to know if the topics or keywords or search queries that you're going after, if they are kind of polluted with AI overviews, then you like have to go one strategy. If they're not, you have to do another strategy. But again, those strategies are very, very similar.
That makes sense with AI overviews. So I guess from your research, I know you and our mutual friend Glenn, that's not working over there, you guys have been doing a lot of research into this, but is the LLM algorithms kind of the same across the board? So like listicles work really well in ChatGPT, therefore they'll work really well for like Google's AI overviews.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the research. I wasn't following a lot of it lately because, like I said,
He's been getting some controversial posts on LinkedIn. In a good way. I've been enjoying watching it, but some people are upset with this methodology.
I like to operate from first principles. I don't like to get buried in small details. And the first principles are that any LLM, regardless of like what's under the hood and what kind of, I don't know, instructions it has from its creators, it still has to do searches. because if LLM doesn't do searches, if it doesn't pull information from web pages on a given topic, which is, I believe, the term is grounding. It is grounded in kind of information from other websites. If it is not grounded, then it hallucinates a lot. So it has to do searches and it has to be grounded with this information. And again, how does it do searches? All the conventional ways that we've known for over a decade. So yeah, I don't see much differences. Maybe like there probably are minor differences. And yeah, we did research. So Perplexity favors, I don't know, Wikipedia, and ChatGPT favors Reddit or whatever. But like I said, those things are not carved in stone. Today it is this, tomorrow it is that. What is the underlying principle? The underlying principle is that every LLM, to answer your question, it has to do web searches. So the more you show up online across the broad spectrum of your topics, the more chances that LLM will find you and mention you. That's basically the first principle that I operate from.
That makes sense. So this leads me to the next question. So this is actually a personal problem I have. So you mentioned HubSpot with what happened
Mm,
with them, right? Like I built our EF strategy as like a poor man's version of HubSpot's SEO strategy, basically. And it worked. It worked really well. I was thankful a couple of years ago, I guess 3 years ago now, I switched a lot of our SEO to like on page marketplace pages rather than blogs, which I think saved us a lot with what happened with the AI apocalypse. But HubSpot lost like, 500 million in monthly searches or something crazy like that. So the
yeah.
guys are like, Greg, just do more SEO. Like, dude, like, like you want to see our analytics crater, not crater, wither is probably a better word. We're not as dramatic as HubSpot's drop, but a big part of that is due to our marketplace pages. But with that said, we have tons of content. We get tons of leads through AI. Like we just got a buyer in our network, I think with like 300 million in liquidity who found us through ChatGPT, like
Mm.
this is awesome. But despite that, I'm always very wary of going deeper into the ChatGPT and trying to rank more in LLMs because one, like I just don't have any visibility. So I guess my first question is like, how do you see the visibility in ChatGPT to know it's working when there's no like traditional rankings? That would be my first question. I have another part, but you can answer that part first.
Yeah, the visibility, that's a hard question to answer because there are multiple approaches to it. So we just literally just yesterday we released the custom prompts functionality at Ahrefs, which works like your conventional rank tracker, right? When you want to like track a list of keywords and see where your website is showing up for this list of keywords, is it ranking number 1, number 2, number 3? Absolutely the same principle, but with the LLMs. You have a list of prompts that are related to what you do. You can customize your list of prompts as you want. And then our tool would automatically ask them to ChatGPT, to Perplexity, to Gemini, to Copilot, whatever. We have like a bunch of these things. And we'll return you the answers and we'll tell you if your brand is being mentioned or not. I don't think we have positions yet, like which brand is the first, which brand is the second. I think this is coming soon, but that's basically it. The caveat, though, and the mistake that a lot of people make is their list of prompts is typically hyper relevant to their business. So they specifically craft their prompts in a way where the chances of their business or website would be mentioned is very high. So they are kind of misleading themselves. They create a biased list of
Shocker.
prompts. Yeah, where they should probably go broader and let's say talk about not the product, like which software can help me solve this. No, like what can I do to solve this? And software would be like one of the considerations. So, like, do you show up in these kinds of things? So, yeah, creating a list of prompts is actually an interesting challenge. And we just discussed it with our team yesterday. We want to create some educational materials of how we advise our customers to create a custom list of prompts that would be, let's say, objective. Let's call it objective. So this is one thing. And another thing, we released this tool called Brand Radar. Well, custom prompts still exist in Brand Radar. But the thing is, with Brand Radar, we have an index of prompts. So we have some 250 million different keywords and questions that we already asked to ChatGPT. And then you can put any brand or like any keyword essentially there and see which prompts it shows up for. So during Chiang Mai SEO, I was making a fun example where I compared Matt Diggity to Tim Soulo. And it turned out that Matt Diggity was showing up like in ChatGPT and the AI overviews a lot more often than me, like 7 times more often something. And I was almost like contemplating sharing this slide because Matt Diggity made me look so bad. But then I added Kyle Roof and he was showing up barely anywhere. And I was like, okay, now I look better. So yeah. So yeah, there are two approaches. You can either tap into an existing big index like the one that Ahrefs have, and essentially if you're not in this index, it's also a signal you're not popular enough to be among those like 250 prompts that we take from the most popular keywords that are exist. This is based on Google search. So we basically take the corpus of keywords and questions that people ask to Google, the most popular ones, and we ask this to ChatGPT because the idea is if something is popular in Google, then it should probably be popular in ChatGPT. It makes sense. Yeah, if you're not there, then you have to go the custom prompts route and you have to try to do the less popular searches, less popular topics. But like I said, you have to be careful because it is very easy to be like very, very biased towards your business. And you're thinking that, oh, like my visibility is so high, I don't need to do anything. But it is not that if you create your list of prompts correctly. And yeah, like I said, we are working on some educational materials on how to do this properly. This should be easy with all the AI tools and such. It should be easy to generate.
So you mentioned bias, which leads me to another question. Like my ChatGPT instance, for example, I can ask it a business question or whatever. And because I like to write poetry and novels, it knows I'm a fantasy writer. So sometimes it'll come back like, oh, this business idea is totally into your existential tragic love of this or whatever, it's like completely unrelated. So with your prompts, this corpus of index, like, do you guys see that as well? Because I'm assuming you guys are operating with a single instance of ChatGPT, or are you guys like recycling it to try to remain more or less incognito, where those prompts are
Yeah.
not actually affecting your instance of it?
Yeah, I think right now, because we don't do the scraping ourselves, we use data partners for that. It's just easier that they're like responsible for all this infrastructure. And I believe we're simply using the kind of public logged out version of ChatGPT. It's not logged in, it doesn't have any profiles, and it gives kind of general answers. And again, we're talking about averages, right? Because if there's Greg, if there's Tim, yeah, we have our own personalized experience. But if you take, I don't know, 10,000 people kind of like us, let's say like in the marketing space, you're a marketer, I'm a marketer, someone else is a marketer, then on average, it would kind of come to some very general answers to our questions. Yeah, for you, it would lean in one direction. For me, it would lean in another direction. But eventually, it would become average across 10,000 people. And this is what you want to have. The way I see the existing AI visibility rank trackers are solving this is they create personas. So, other than tracking your custom list of prompts, within the tool, we don't have this yet, but we'll probably add it because I think it does make sense. You define, so my persona is, I don't know, a marketer at a SaaS company. They have, I don't know, 10 people in their team and they're interested mostly in, I don't know, branding or whatever. And this is like the persona that they create. And then what happens is that this description is getting appended before every prompt. So you do the description of who you are, and then you append the prompt, and ChatGPT gives you a reply. Yeah, I'm not super familiar if the results are satisfactory, but this is what I've seen other tools are doing. On the surface, it makes sense. We didn't yet start working on it. Once we start and once we test, I will see if that is valuable at all, but that's not that hard to do. So we can do it anytime.
Interesting. This is a very dynamic, moving space. That leads into part two of my question, which again relates back to my own personal argument with myself of what I should do here. Because we do get a lot of leads from AI, from ChatGPT, Perplexity, all the LMs basically. But my second part on this visibility question is how much more juice is left to squeeze. So, for example, let's say I'm getting, I don't know, 300 leads a month from LLMs. If I put in a lot more work to get more exposure, do all the right things, like how do I know that 300 wasn't the cap already? Like, what is the cap? Because it's not like you have search volumes like you have with a keyword,
Yeah.
right? So, what's your kind of thoughts around this? Like, of how big the market actually is to go after to even get mentioned in these LLMs?
Yeah, this is a very fair question. We're in the same situation. Ahrefs has this self-attribution. So whenever you sign up for an account, we ask you, where have you heard about us? And because our audience is marketers, people are quite generous giving us clues of where they found us. ChatGPT, I think we have so far maybe 40,000 people who mentioned ChatGPT while signing up. So a lot, but we also have like a freemium product, which is why there's so many signups. So yeah, we see that as well. And first of all, this brings me back to the first principles of SEO, which apply in AEO, because we did nothing to make this happen. We did nothing. It's just like ChatGPT appeared, it started answering people's questions. And because Ahrefs is Ahrefs, because we created all this content, because people talked about us, because we have, I don't know, a community, we have vocal users, blah, blah, blah. There's plenty of information about us on the web. So ChatGPT is able to find this and able to mention us. Now, do we need to bother with investing more? So I will tell you, we're not doing anything to improve our AI visibility at this point. But what I would probably do is, yeah, with custom prompts, we're going to track our own AI visibility in our own tool. We typically eat our own dog food and use our own tools. And what we would do, we would try to find some topics where our visibility is not yet good, where we're not mentioned, but we should. And we would try to, I don't know, maybe create those listicles or put out more information about it on our own website or whatever. Just create more information online, yeah, about those things. And then what we would track is that, okay, we improved our visibility, let's say, like in a given topic, because again, you can then use tags and see, okay, for this topic, our visibility is zero. We're not mentioned, for example, social media tools and social media marketing. We just launched social media tool, but are we mentioned? Probably not. And we have zero visibility. Now let's see if we improve that visibility from zero to, let's say, I don't know, 80%. And again, we can track with the self attribution how many people are signing up, or even how much traffic we're getting, like what citations do we have, and traffic to our citations to our website coming from those things. And we can kind of cross reference, okay, are we getting more leads, more signups to our social media tool together with the increase of visibility or not? So this is how I would do it. But yeah, because I think AEO is so similar to SEO. We're just focusing on SEO, and yeah, we're just tracking our visibility as a consequence.
I have a buddy of mine. He was at Chick SEO too. He runs a SEO agency, but he told me he stopped selling SEO retainers. Now he only sells AEO retainers. I was like, why is that? He's like, because it's just an SEO retainer. I get to charge an extra $2,000 a month.
Yes, exactly,
it's the same.
exactly, exactly. So yeah, it's what is cool is that you do all the same things that you were doing, but now you're tracking, okay, we're not mentioned by AI for social media topics, but we would still publish all these articles. We would still go like and find partners to
Right.
talk about us. We would still try to get listed in all these social media tools lists. And then we can track, okay, so our efforts are paying off. ChatGPT is starting to mention us. Good job, team. Like everything is working out. Or if we're doing all those things and ChatGPT isn't mentioning us, then we can dig into why. Like, what sources does ChatGPT use to get the information, and why are we not listed in those sources? So, yeah, you do need analytics to understand, like, the efforts are the same, but you might be hitting the wrong websites, for example. Yeah,
Mhm.
you show up on the websites, but these are not the websites that ChatGPT is using for references. So you do want to have this kind of visibility. And this is why, yeah, Brand Radar, our AI visibility tool, is our kind of fastest growing product ever. In just a few months after launching, I think we crossed 10 million in annual revenue just
Wow.
with this tool alone. Yeah,
Wow, Tim, you're gonna come and buy some businesses from Uncle Empire over here. It sounds like, man.
I'm not the owner of Ahrefs. Let's not forget.
Well, we could get him to do it. You just convince him. Like you convince him to come to me, and I'll convince him to buy a completely unrelated Amazon FBA business. Like, trust me, you want to diversify. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Going back to a bit what you were saying earlier about, the brand visibility stuff. I'm kind of in a very similar situation. Like, I'm not necessarily doing anything different. I'm self-attributing as well, and that has led to, like one, just getting visibility on it because it would normally come into our CRM as direct traffic or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm very cautious on like going all in on trying to get more visibility. But so you mentioned listicles, and we talked about listicles quite a lot. Like AI seems to really love those. Is there content that people should avoid with AEO that AI, like for whatever reason, doesn't like this type of content?
Probably not at the moment. I think AI would eat everything.
The powerful choice of words.
Yeah, I think with time they would become more selective and they would pay attention to more factors. This is just natural. They would try to improve like where they take their information from. But yeah, I don't see how different I also don't buy all this stuff like create content just for AI, just to feed
Yeah,
AI.
same.
Yeah, I'm kind of not buying it. I think that you should think of people first, and whatever is interesting to your potential customers is the same thing that, like, literally, they would go and ask this question to AI. So speak to, like, on your pages, speak to your customers, because then AI would take this and it would speak to your customers in your own words. And like the way you present your product on your pages, this is how AI would present your product to your potential customers. So create like generating some, I don't know, kind of instructional big pages of content for AI only and treating AI as it is like some sort of database of content or something. I'm not quite buying it. I think you should create content with people in mind.
Yeah, I think one thing what you just described there is a perennial problem of SEOs in general, where they just write for the robots instead of the
Yeah.
humans. But they forget this whole thing called marketing. like,
Yeah.
like yeah, you rank, but like if it's just lorem ipsum, like a lot of Kyle Roof's experiments, right?
Yeah.
You're probably not going to convert anything, right?
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
So, okay, so we have listicles. It seems like no content's off limits. We talked a lot about brand mentions, even if it's not linked on other websites. Is there any other levers people can do to try to improve their visibility in AI?
I think social media is increasingly becoming more valuable. So I think one of the latest research that we've done is we correlated the brand mentions in AI versus brand mentions on YouTube.
Hmm,
And the correlation is the highest, even higher than your how your brand is represented on the web.
interesting.
So yeah, it seemed like one reason for that is because websites like YouTube and TikTok are demand creation engines. You go there without any specific goal. You open your feed and you start watching videos, shorts, TikToks, blah, blah, blah. And then you might see something. I don't know, some cool new piece of clothing or some cool new gadget or something. And then you go and search for it. And then you go do research. And then you go and do your comparison, etc. So this is why like your visibility in AI is kind of a consequence of the demand that you create on these platforms. So yeah, people see something on YouTube and then they go and ask questions about it on ChatGPT. And ChatGPT again, it also like finds YouTube videos because all the transcripts are there and AI can read into those transcripts and give you answers. So yeah, I think marketing is becoming more and more, what's the word, homogeneous, like when all the things converge together.
It's a weird mix of homogenous and multi-channel, like
Yeah.
got to be everywhere so you can appear once.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an interesting place we're falling into. With, let's say there's someone, and that's interesting on the YouTube thing. I like one thing I've noticed over the last couple of years is as affiliate sites have kind of fallen off, which, as you know, I've sold a crazy amount of affiliate sites on
Hmm.
our platform. YouTube is now becoming like a big thing. Like faceless YouTube channels are kind of like
Hmm.
not fully, but they're kind of filling a similar role that the old school OG like Amazon affiliate site used to be. So that doesn't surprise me that ChatGPT would be linking to them more and more. Like pretty much everyone I know is like going into long form YouTube video content at this point, which makes sense. If a brand has a lot of content, such as us, like at Empire Flippers, right? In traditional SEO, you'd want to update that content and keep it fresh. Is there anything meaningful you can do to like upgrade or refresh your content that would really like knock it out of the park with AI, or is it just again, similar to old school SEO?
All the same things. Yeah, you want to keep it updated. You want to make sure that there is no outdated statements. You want to make sure that your articles are mentioning 2019 or 2022 when like we're going into 2026, and not just in titles, in the content as well, because this is a signal to AI that, oh, this thing is
Old.
probably old.
Yeah.
There was a lot of conversation about like chunking and all this stuff, but if you really dig into it, chunking is just good, clean writing where people don't have to guess what this thing is about. So don't try to be smart, don't try to conceal your kind of your point in some convoluted metaphors or something. Just be clear, just explain so that everyone could understand.
What do you mean by chunking? I'm not sure if I've heard that used in this
Oh, it's a
context.
term. Search for it, like chunking AEO or chunking GEO or something like this. You'll find some information about it. I think there's even an article about from Ahrefs blog that says chunking is overrated or something like that.
So it's just like where they put like big chunks of paragraphs in the like. Give me the 30-second pitch of what it is.
I don't even want to go there. So it's like,
This is bad.
yeah, chunking is a term. It's actually like a data science term of how kind of it's related to tokens and how LLMs kind of digest information and blah blah blah. It's irrelevant for
Interesting.
marketers. It's irrelevant. If you're in data science and you're actually building those LLMs, you want to understand those terms. If you're a marketer and you're creating content, yeah, you can bullshit your way like by saying chunking from stage, and people would say like, oh, you're so smart. But essentially, like, would you be able to use that to create better content than me? No. It's the same as we had those, what are they called, NLP models, right? Like a few years ago, everyone was saying, oh, like you use NLP to improve your content. And I was like, here, Ahrefs blog, there's like 10 articles that aren't ranking in top three. Use your NLP to rank them in top three. No one was able to do this. So, yeah.
Marketers is so funny, man. One, you might like this. Chunking is also a term for comedians. So it's it's a way they tell jokes to like tie their set together. So they'll like chunk,
Mm,
like they'll come back with another joke over here that is a callback to the previous joke. But
yeah.
so it says you don't think it's very valuable. You could always bring up, are you mean like what comedians do, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But dude, that stuff reminds me so much of like, link velocity, link sculpting,
Yeah.
like a lot of on page stuff that came out. And now like digital PR is like, you mean just PR or you mean just link building? Because you're not even actually doing PR, you're just selling links. And there's this guy on LinkedIn, dude, it drove me nuts. He was like, I don't teach my customers funnels. I teach them world building. I was like, so you teach them funnels? Like, what do you mean? He described what we meant by world building about creating all this content that brings people in closer to him to eventually make a sell. Like, so a funnel?
I hate it. I also hate when I go to the conference and I watch someone's presentation and it's like so convoluted and like I feel stupid because I don't understand anything. And like some people are mesmerized. Oh, this guy is so smart. I'm like, okay, but what did you understand from his talk? They struggle. They struggle to come up with like any actionable use case. They, oh, like I need to go home and rewatch it. I need to dig deep. No, this is not how conferences should be. Like you should go to a conference, you should listen to the talk, and you should be amazed at how many actionable things you can go and implement right away. This is
Wow,
what a good talk is. If you're impressed by how sophisticated it is but you understand nothing, that's a bad talk. Like you
I
shouldn't be
agree.
fascinated by these kinds of talks. So yeah, shout out to Ahrefs Evolve. We don't have talks like that. I personally select all the
Oh,
speakers.
not yet. You haven't selected me as a speaker yet, Tim. I could come and ruin the entire experience for your attendees. I'm happy to do it. Just let me know. I'll come and
Thank
crash.
you.
Even if you don't invite me, I'll just run up on the stage.
That's very generous of you.
Hey, man, I tried to help out a buddy. But yeah, man, I totally agree with you. Like, I see all these SEOs talking about like, so I have a buddy, he has like a $7 million agency. He was like SEO agency, and he was on this podcast talking about how he uses ads for paid client acquisition. And the SEO he is talking to is like extremely technical. He's on the other side where everything's convoluted, like looking at the LSIs, like the keyword
Yeah.
density, all that kind of stuff, right? He's like, oh yeah, you're doing that for like social signals, right? He's like, what? No, I mean, I guess it helps, but no, I'm doing it because I'm building a brand, and this is
Yeah.
how part of how we get clients. It's just like blown away. Like what? Yeah. Like, so I
Yeah.
often joke that the SEO becomes easier the more you just focus on building a real brand. Like
Yeah.
EF is way easier, or at least it was, to build out the SEO than my affiliate friends who are just doing like churn sites, right? So yeah, I agree with you. I think SEO is overcomplicate things a lot of the times. So that said, do you think people are overcomplicating AI? I feel like I know the answer, but
Absolutely, they do.
okay, just too normal
Again,
SEO.
I always point out a very important distinction. I am in the business of selling software where you take our software and you achieve results with it yourself. This is why my goal is make it look easy, simple, straightforward, because you will understand it, you will buy your software, you will do it, you will get results. Other people are selling services. This is why their motivation is make it feel sophisticated and hard and something you don't want to do yourself. It's easier for you to pay money to have someone do it for you. So these are completely different things. But hey, Ahrefs is doing more than 100 million in annual recurring revenue from our customers. So it seems our approach is working, right? So you can buy software and achieve results with it on your own.
I feel like you just called me out since I'm a service provider, and I often say go with a brokerage because it can be pretty complicated.
No, again, I don't want to say that every service provider is bad. That it's a spectrum. Like some people are completely legit and they say things how they are, and it's like a pleasure to work with these people. Other people would try to essentially scam you, right? Like there's a lot of scammers in our industry as well. So yeah, like it's not that I'm saying that everyone, like every agency is trying to sell you snake oil. No, not at all, not at all. There are a lot of agencies who are completely legit. A lot of them are even my friends who I can vouch for because I worked with them and we hired them for ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. There's always a range, a spectrum for sure. Like there, even in the M&A brokerage, like in our sphere, there's a lot of like fly by night guys, and like luckily, well, I shouldn't say lucky, it was a kind of a bad story, but this lady, she didn't go with us. She was a buyer, she went with someone else. I don't know if she like contacted us. I heard her through a friend of a friend, but the broker like convinced her to get an SBA loan on an affiliate website. So she
Oh,
got like a 1.5 million. Like I didn't even know that SBA lenders would approve for something like this, but a $1.5 million loan, I think it was, on an affiliate website. Like any reputable ethical broker would tell you not to do that. This is too risky. There's like too many things that can go wrong, and something did go wrong. Like Google's SEO update, the thing that made HubSpot lose
yeah,
all the traffic, also made her
yeah,
lose all that traffic on the affiliate website. And now, like, that's a personal guarantee loan. Like, she's basically looking at bankruptcy through what that fly by night broker did. So we joke about bad service providers, and sometimes it's, you get burned for $1,000, two thousand
yeah.
dollars a month. Sometimes you get burned for $1.5 million if you're not careful. So, yeah,
This is why I'm saying work with people who you understand what they're saying you.
yeah, absolutely. So let's backtrack here. SEO traditionally takes a long time. If you're brand new, right? If you don't have a lot of brand authority, you're looking at 3 to 6 months to see some real movement. Is that
Disagree.
true with AI as well? What was that?
I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree that SEO takes a long time. I completely disagree. You know why?
Okay,
Because of something I mentioned earlier. Because you can rank not just with your own website. You can go to
fair.
websites that are already ranking and
Yes.
you can include yourself there. It's called affiliate marketing, right? You go to affiliates who already have this traffic. And this is still SEO, right? Search engine optimization. People search, they find you. Yeah, it's not your website. You didn't optimize your website, you didn't push it to the top of the search results. But if you want to benefit from search traffic, you can do it almost instantly just by going to the websites who are already ranking there. So, but yeah, what was your question?
So you're putting me down another rabbit hole. So I have a business buyer friend who did like two pretty funny strategies. So I think he bought a business with a digital product, but he didn't know anything about SEO. So he just went to the websites that are already ranking, and
Yeah.
they didn't have any monetization on their blog. So he paid them like $100 to put his thing there. And he was making like thousands of dollars off of it. But then he went and bought all these locksmithing companies in some random city in the United States, and he bought all of them except for position number one, and each one of them was basically like a one person show, and then he owned like the entire Google map
Yeah.
pack.
Yeah.
He's like, I've never done SEO a day in my life, but I get a lot of leads from SEO.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How is that not SEO? Just buy the website that is
Right.
ranking and SEO starts working for you from day one.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's why I always tell people buying businesses, like people always think the seller is the one that makes all the money on the exit. Don't get me wrong, they do. But as long as you're buying correctly and you understand what you're doing, like I think buying is actually way quicker to wealth. Like I have a client, he bought a business from us, and then literally an hour later, he sold that same business with us because you inherit all the historicals, right? Just like you would inherit the SEO and all that. Like it's not like you're starting a business from scratch where you have to build up 3 years worth of P&L data. You already have it, right? You bought it. So that's one of the little secret strategies of buyers. But back to my question, I agree with you on that. SEO can move fast if you're doing that. I was thinking more, ranking a new website or whatever, which also can move faster depending on the niche. But do you think AI has sped that up? Like, for example, I have another buddy, new business. They were trying to do SEO, but they're in a really competitive niche. But they started doing all those listicle injections and you started getting a ton of leads from AI pretty fast. Is that something you're seeing that AI is ranking faster or showing visibility faster?
Yeah, I think in a way, because search is, well, basically you only have so many top ranking pages, and the first few pages get all the traffic. Like they say, no one goes to the second page of Google search results, right? But with AI, when it does searches, it does multiple searches, like a dozen of them, different long tail keywords. So there's just more opportunity that your resource is going to get found and going to get selected. And because AI gives you answers, not pages, a single answer can mention a bunch of products, a bunch of companies, a bunch of brands. So you get visibility faster. Like previously, if someone is searching for, I don't know, best SEO tool, what would happen is that someone's homepage would rank. Someone would optimize the homepage of their website for best SEO tool. People would click and like, oh, okay, seems like this is the best SEO tool. Right now, if you ask best SEO tool for ChatGPT, it would contemplate on, oh, like if you're looking for this, it would be this. If you're looking for enterprise, it would be this. If you're looking for the best overall, it's Ahrefs.
Of course. Of course. I like that little plug there you did there, the marketer coming out. That makes sense. With everything going on, so this is a bit of a crystal ball question, I guess. I have a lot of SEO friends, I'm sure you do too, who are like pretty PTSD filled with trauma with everything going on with Google. It's like knee jerk reactions to their algorithms. Some of my friends got out of SEO completely. Like, do you see traditional SEO as we know it staying relatively stable over the next few years, or do you see it kind of keep dwindling, like what we're seeing with AI overviews and all that kind of stuff?
So first of all, I don't know. I do see that our own search traffic at Ahrefs blog keeps freaking dwindling.
You too. Okay, I feel
Yeah,
so much better now that you said that.
we're putting out so much amazing content about, like, we're updating old articles. We're creating articles about new trending topics. We're releasing lots of unique research that picks up mentions from all the biggest sites in the industry. We do it all. Like, I think we have one of the best content marketing teams in SaaS, period. And despite all that effort, our blog traffic slowly but surely, month to month, a little less, 3% less, 4% less, 3% less. So, yeah, it's been dwindling. But the thing is, people won't stop searching. Maybe the number of people who would visit your actual article, that number would reduce over time, but the demand for information would stay the same, perhaps even grow, because ChatGPT allows you to ask the kind of questions that Google won't be able to solve for you. And now you can ask more specific, more nuanced, more unique questions to ChatGPT, and it would be able to give you answers. So the value to keep creating content that is unique content, because if you're talking about things that are already there, yeah, the upside of this is not that high. But if you're operating on the cutting edge of your industry, if you're sharing some stuff that only you know, like it's your proprietary business data, it's your unique expert knowledge that only you have, your experiences, your case studies, etc., then you will get those valuable mentions from ChatGPT. You will be perceived as an authority, and you will keep getting business, customers, sales. So, yeah, in terms of traffic, it is easy to predict that it would be going down. In terms of demand, I think demand would stay the same, if not grow.
And to unpack that, because I could see an audience member saying, like, well, how does that make sense? Wouldn't demand be going down if traffic is going down? Like, speaking from my own personal experience, like, our traffic has been dwindling. But things like our seller submissions, which is like the first step for someone to list a business to sell with us, has stayed the same and sometimes have gone up. Same with our buyers that we register on our marketplace. Like, so these like lower funnel KPIs, we're actually seeing an increase a lot of the times. Some of our top of funnel, like traffic being a big one, we're seeing dwindling. But I'm assuming that's kind of what you mean, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, less traffic, but actually more people going deeper with your company.
Yeah, because they get their answer from ChatGPT, not your website. But if you are the answer, if ChatGPT or like AI overviews, like I said, go search for best geo experts. Gareth Hoyle is mentioned as one of the best ones.
Okay.
So I guess Gareth is getting some leads from that. As simple as that. But he's not getting any traffic, right? His name is mentioned, but not his website.
Right.
And then people would just search for Gareth Hoyle, find his website, and he would get just branded traffic for his name out of nowhere.
Yeah, makes sense. What do you think is the future of Ahrefs? You know, SEMrush just got acquired with Adobe, or it looks like it's about to be. I don't know if that deal's fully gone through yet, but like, what's Ahrefs' future in this whole mix? Like, are you guys looking to do something similar to SEMrush, or like you guys are confident to keep growing as the way you guys are?
Yeah, as far as I know, we're not looking for any exit. So this is not in the books, as far as I can see, neither an acquisition nor IPO. But in terms of what happens to the product, I don't know because there are multiple options. Then there are multiple opinions within our team on what happens next. For example, just today we were discussing with Dmitry, and he says that data is going to be the mode, like the interface, the UI, all the features and filters and blah, blah, blah. It is not that important because people will just use chatbots like ChatGPT and telling, okay, create an SEO strategy for me, and it will go like attached to API of Ahrefs, get all the data, process all the data, and give you the strategy. I kind of agree and disagree with that. I agree that data is the moat because ChatGPT, without all the data that Ahrefs has, cannot help you with SEO. It can give you generic advice, but it cannot like dig into the actual data, what your competitors are doing, yada yada yada. But I'm sure you've seen this nice little tool called Clay that has been making
Yes.
waves
Yes.
in the marketing industry. It's like everywhere. They don't have any data. All their data is coming from third parties. They don't have any data. They don't have their own AI models. They're not Anthropic or something or OpenAI. They're just what is called like ChatGPT wrapper. They are UI. All they have is
They're
a
an
nice
API
UI.
wrapper, I'd say, because it's not just ChatGPT, right? They go and
Yeah,
find.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They're an API wrapper. Yeah, they're just a spreadsheet that connects with everything and has kind of AI agents that you can ask or do this, do that, populate the cell with this. And they got to 100 million in 2 years, and I can easily see them doubling or tripling it this year. And they are a UI. So I don't know. Like generally, I think Ahrefs is in the best position possible. We have all the data, which is the mode, and we have some smart people who can come up with interesting features like we were doing for all these years. We were coming up with interesting UIs, interesting reports, interesting charts and graphs, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, will UI be redundant and everyone is just going to do stuff with AI chatbots and like talking to their computers and talking to their phones? I don't know. We'll see. The plan that we have at Ahrefs is just to observe and adapt.
Yeah, I think I'm personally of a mix of those two because, like, yes, data is incredibly important for your own moat, but you take something like Clay, you can rebuild Clay. You go into something like GenSpark or Manus and like figure out like all the stuff. You can vibe code up your own like crappy version of Clay, but
Yeah.
it's going to one, be crappy, to take a lot of time, and it's quite complex what they've done there, right? So they've simplified complexity, which is the UI, right? Which I also think is important. Like ChatGPT is simplified, like finding really nuanced information. So that's partially the UI, right? Even though it's based on their data, the presentation of how they do that is simplicity, which is like, like your sophistication is based on your simplicity because that's what gets adoption. So I think it's a mix of those two. I think that's what I'll end up seeing myself. But Tim, we're at the end of the podcast. So I have a rapid fire section. I'm going to ask you three rapid fire questions. You give me three rapid fire answers. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. No pressure,
Sounds
my
intimidating.
It's extremely intimidating. I don't post the episode unless you do a good job here. So you might have just wasted an hour. Joking, joking. All right. First question. What are the best hidden growth opportunities within SEO today?
Hidden?
Hidden, like something that people don't think about that they should be thinking about.
I don't even know. I think one tactic that doesn't get enough visibility from my point of view is monitoring your own branded traffic. Like if you take your brand, put it to Ahrefs and see like which new keywords have appeared with your brand. For example, this is how we discovered that a lot of people are searching for Ahrefs group buy, and we don't have a page to address that. So we created a page on our website, Ahrefs group buy and blah blah blah. So if people are interested, they can go search for it and see what they did there. Same thing, I realized that how to pronounce Ahrefs. There was no page on our website about this, and there was like a lot of search volume. Yeah, those things are little, but they add up over time. And this helps you understand what questions people are asking about your products, about your
Sure.
services, about your brand. And again, if people are asking them in Google, they're asking them in ChatGPT. Does ChatGPT know the answer? It probably does not if you don't provide it with an answer. So I think one strategy that becomes increasingly more important is making sure you know what people search for in regards to your brand, because they would ask these questions to ChatGPT and ChatGPT would fail to answer and you wouldn't know.
That's a good point. Like someone who's searching those weird long tail keywords about your brand are also probably pretty deep in, maybe not in
Yeah.
your actual funnel, but like in the actual buying funnel, like maybe outside of your CRM or whatever, right? Because they're actually trying to find all this weird nuanced information about you. All right, second question. What tools or resources can people use to help them maintain visibility in search and AI?
Ahrefs, of course.
I'll put my referral link in the show notes, even though I don't have that. I always do that question, but most of the guests they fail to see that's a self promotion question. All right, hardest question, my friend. You've been in the SEO world for a long time. We've been buddies for a long time. What has been your funniest moment working in the SEO industry?
Plenty of them. I think the highlight is my SEO selfie battle with, oh shit, his
Jason?
name Jason Hennessy. Yeah,
I'll let him know that you forgot his name when I said his podcast to him.
I wanted to call him James Hennessy, but I like, oh no, he's not
This is
James.
the raw. This is the problem.
Yeah, so if for anyone who doesn't know, you can literally look up SEO selfie battle on Google because I created an actual website to commemorate our fun battle. And yeah, that was quite funny.
Is this still ongoing? I think I saw something recently where one of you guys like upped the ante once more.
It's Jason's turn to do his
Ah.
move.
So what was your final move?
My final move was a big, like 4 meter in diameter inflatable balloon with a photo of Jason. So yeah, he needs to up that somehow, and I think he's stuck a little bit.
Oh, well, I'm glad you won the battle then, my friend. I'll let him know that you also claimed victory when I send him this
Yeah.
podcast. So, and I'm not going to tell him where we mention him, so he'll have to listen to the whole thing. Well, man, it's always such a pleasure talking to you. You're like one of the few marketers that I feel like talk straight about a lot of this stuff. So, if anyone doesn't follow Tim for some reason, go on LinkedIn. He's very easy to find. But where should we send people to who want to learn more about what Ahrefs is doing, or like just talk to you?
LinkedIn, this is where I'm most active, and you can learn more about Ahrefs on YouTube if you're not familiar with our product. Just search on YouTube for Ahrefs tutorial, how to use Ahrefs. There's plenty of content, and a lot of that content isn't even created by us. And a lot of these people aren't even affiliates. They just create this content because they like us so much. That's not even a joke.
Yeah, I love it, man. Well, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on, man. We'll put all those links in the show notes if anyone wants to give Tim a follow and you know get access to Ahrefs, so later on you can sell your business with me. Tim, you can also, when you guys decide to sell Ahrefs, make sure to use your Empire Flippers referral link. So
Thanks for having me, Greg.
appreciate it. There you have it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it got you inspired at all the different things that are happening in this industry. And of course, if you just want to buy a highly profitable business, you can always go to empireflippers.com/marketplace, or maybe you want to make an exit of your highly profitable business, and you could go to empireflippers.com/sell your site. I've been your host, Greg. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you leave a review, give us a like, a follow, share it across social media. Talk to you all soon. See you on the next episode.